The path of Gursikhi is this. You want to take on the form of Garibi. Whether it be on the outside, that is irrelevant, but be rich on the inside. Be filled with that true jewel, not the jewels of this world, the jewel of the Guru's Naam. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah is saying through this way, you attain true mukti, true liberation. And how is this liberation obtained? How do you become the lowest? How do you become full of this devotional love and bhakti? Sach kaho, sun leo sabhe, jin prem kiyo, then he prapayo. With true love, you find a Kalpurk. When we say we can die for somebody, that means that we have no importance for ourselves. When I am not there anymore, then it is just you. Satgur vittum varya, jit milya, khasam samalya. Once I meet my Guru, that is where I truly fall in love with my Qasam, my lover, and I contemplate, I remember, I do Simran of my beloved again and again through my Guru's blessings. You meet the Guru, you sacrifice yourself for the Guru, and through the Guru's blessings, you're able to contemplate God, your lover, the beloved. Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Ji. Asa Mahalla Chautha. Jin Mastak Tur Har Likhia, Tina Satgur Milya Raam Raje. Agyan Andera Katya, Gur Gyan Kat Balya. Har Ladda Ratan Padartho, Phir Bahud Na Chalya. Jan Nanak Naam Aradhya, Arad Har Milya. Salok Mahalla Pehla. Nanak Mer Sarir Ka, Ik rath Vaho. Jug Jug Fer Vatai Hai, Gyani Bujh Tahe. Sat Jug Rath Santokh Ka, Tarm Agay Rath Vaho. Dretay Rath Jatay Ka, Jor Agay Rath Vaho. Dwapar Rath Tapay Ka, Sat Agay Rath Vaho. Kal Jug Rath Agan Ka, Kood Agay Rath Vaho. Mahalla Pehla. Saam Kahe Se Tambar Swami, Sach Meh Achai Sach Rahai. Sabko Sach Samavai, Rig Kahe Rahya Parpur. Raam Naam Deva Mehsur, Nae Laya Parachat Jahe. Nanak Tau Mokhantar Pahe. Juj Meh Jor Chali Chandraval, Kaan Krishan Jadam Paya. Par Jat Gopi Le Aya, Mindra Ban Meh Rang Kiya. Kal Meh Bed Atharban Hua, Nao Khudai Alho Paya. Neel Bastar Le Kapde Pehre, Turk Pathani Amal Kiya. Chare Ved Hoye Sachiar, Padhai Gunhai Tin Char Vichar. Pao Pagat Kar Neech Sadaye, Tau Nanak Mokhantar Paye. Paudi. Satgur Vittoh Varya, Jit Milya Khasam Samalya. Jin Kar Updes Gyan Anjan Diya, Eni Netri Jagat Nihalya. Khasam Chod Dujai Lage, Dubbe Se Van Jarya. Satguru hai bohe tha, Virle Kine Vicharya. Kar Kirpa Par Utarya. Satguru hai bohe tha, Virle Kine Vicharya. Kar Kirpa Par Utarya. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji. Sachi Paatshah explains to us that in this life, we're all walking a path. But this path is not limited to just these few years that we have in this human life. This path of ours has been going on for quite a while now. It is a long path. We may be near the end of this path and reaching our destination, or we could be somewhere quite far away or in the midst of this path still. What is this path, Pyaru? Here Sachi Paatshah explains to us that when somebody is traveling, they travel in a chariot or they travel on some sort of cart. Today we may call that a bus or a car. When we travel, if our car breaks down, that doesn't mean that we've reached our destination. if we are traveling and our transportation, whether our horse stops riding, whether our chariot breaks down, whether our car breaks down or the bus stops, what we do is we get out of that chariot or bus and we get onto another form of transport, another chariot, and then we continue down that path. Just like in this life, we are all separated beings, but we're trying to go back to our destination, which is ultimately merging with the Kalpurk. You can call that being liberated. You can call that moksha. You can call that being merged into the light of Akal Purkh. You can call that just like water merges with water. Nanak leen peo gobind seo, jyon pani sang pani. Just like water merges with water. You can call that being free from the entanglements of the world and the cycle of birth and death. Whatever you may be calling it, pyare, becoming one with God. That is our destination. But on this path, on this journey, there are many, many things. Pyareo, this path has to do with time. And in this journey of time, there are many ways that time has been broken up. Time is broken up into what we call yugs. We call this minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, millenniums. Pyareo, it goes on to yugs. And in these sloks, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is explaining to us that even with time, the people change, times change. The influence of light, truth, or darkness, falsehood, that changes as well. But that does not mean that your path changes. Who you truly are does not change. Your true Roop, your true Atma. Pyareo, you are the form of Akal Purkh. Akal Purkh is residing through you, the Chetan Swarup Paramatma. But our bodies change. This body will die, and another body we may need to take on. In this way, this age has a certain influence on it, but the previous age had a different influence. The one before that had a different way of talking, walking, being. The bodies were different. Pyareo, in the future after this age, there may be a different way or different influence of that time. But first, before we begin that vichar of Nanak Mehr Sarir Ka, Ik Rath Vahu, that who is the traveler and what is the chariot and who is the person that's driving the chariot, the Rathvahu. But before we begin that, let's look at the Benti form that Guru Ramdas Ji Sache Pacha is explaining to us in their shants that are also added on with the sloks and the paudis in Asa Di Vaar. Pyareo, let's look at what Guru Ramdas Ji Sache Pacha and the Raag Asa, they're saying to us, Jin Mastak Dhur har Likhia, tina Satgur milya Raam Raje. That whoever has this blessing written on their forehead, this destiny, only they are able to meet the Guru. Pyareo, if you want to cross over this entire world ocean, the very beginning we begin from this line, at the very end it will come back to the same thing. It's like a journey where we started and we come back to that same point. But in this journey, we go through ups and downs and different times and we take on different forms. But the end, we all come back to the same thing as well. Even look at the beauty of this salok of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the paudi of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the shant of Guru Ramdas Ji Sache Pacha. They explain the exact same thing to us. That we start off Jin Mastak Dhur har Likhia, tina Satgur milya Raam Raje. At the end of the paudi we will come to Satguru hai boy tha virla kene vicharya kar kirpa par utarya. That if we want to be crossing over this ocean where those that are connecting to duality, they are drowning, the Guru is the boat that we need to meet. The Guru is the boat which we need to be standing on, because this boat will not drown. This boat is the thing that carries us across, but only those with these blessings, Pyareo, from the Guru, we need to ask for these blessings. Those that have this preordained destiny written on their forehead, only they are able to meet with the Guru, Pyareo. So let's ask the Guru to bless us with such a destiny, give us such blessings that we may be able to meet with the Guru. Without meeting the true Guru, none of this is possible. Throughout all of these ages, we will go through many, many ups and downs. Throughout our even life today, जिन मस्तक तुर हर लिखिया तिना सतगुर मिलिया राम राजे अज्ञान अंधेरा कटिया गुर ज्ञान कट बलिया. What happened when I met my Guru? Guru Ramdas Ji says, first I was living in darkness. I was blind. I was not able to see. My eyes were completely stitched shut. Whenever I looked, I saw falsehood. But my Guru placed this surma, this mascara of light inside of my eyes. Agyan andhera katya gur gyan kat balya. When the light was shone through my eyes, sometimes even a blind person, they have physical eyes, but they're not able to see color. They're not able to see forms. They're not able to see any vision, even though the eyes are there. The same way, Guru Ramdas Ji saying, look, my eyes are here, but I'm blind. When the light of my Guru started shining through these eyes, that's when I was able to actually see. All darkness was dispelled. We read in Gurbani, Gyan anjan gurdiya, agyan andher benas, har kirpa te sant petya, nanak man pragas. That when the Guru blessed me with that vision, when they placed that gyan, the form of mascara, in my eyes, that opened up my eyes. Pyareo, gyan, agyan andhera, the darkness of ignorance, katya, is completely cut away. Gur gyan, through the Guru's light, through the Guru's blessings, through the Guru's wisdom. Gur gyan kat balya, inside of my heart. Balya meaning just like a fire starts lighting. There are flames, it starts shining. There is light, there is prakash. When this light, when this fire inside of my heart started burning, it shined light inside of my entire body. That little spark, that little light, now my heart beats, but not in duality. In my heart beats, it shines that light in my eyes and my entire body. I see my Guru everywhere, and I experience my Guru everywhere. Gur Gyan Kat Balya, my heartbeat is the Guru's Naam now. Har Ladda Ratan Padartho, and when searching through this darkness, once I found my Guru, I found that light, my heart started beating in the love of my Guru, then I found that true treasure. Deep within my heart, I found the true treasure. Har Ladda, I found the Guru's treasure. Ratan Padartho, fir bahud na chalya. Now I do not need to go searching anywhere. First I was walking on this journey. On this journey, I encountered many people. They led me astray. I came into this circle, this cycle of birth and deaths many, many times. But now, fir bahud na chalya, I do not need to go anywhere anymore. I do not need to come back into this world. Avarn jana, hukum tisai ka, hukum hai buj samavenge, bahudam kahe avenge. Have I found the true treasure? If I found that Paramatma, what is the purpose of coming and going back into this world again and again? I do not need that because I found the true treasure. Jan Nanak Naam Aradhya, when I meditated upon my Guru with true love. Jan Nanak Naam Aradhya, I remembered, I made that Guru's love my remembrance. Arad Har Milya, by reciting and remembering, doing Simran of my beloved Paramatma and the name of my Paramatma, I found my Guru, I found my Kalpurk, I found Har, I found God. This is the path, Pyareo. Those that are blessed, they found the true Guru. The Guru blesses them with this jewel, and through contemplating and remembering this jewel, this Naam inside of them, shining inside of their heart, Pyareo, they meet their true destination. They reach their destination, which is becoming one with God. Here Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha says on that journey, Pyareo, just because our cart breaks down, when somebody is traveling, you may be traveling across the country, you may need to switch buses, you may need to change trains, but just because you get off of one train or one bus or taxi breaks down, that does not mean you've reached your destination. Meaning that remember what your true destination is. Don't get into this confusion just because the bus stops that you think you've found it. No, Pyareo, Sache Pacha is teaching to us. In these slokas, they explain to us of how yogas used to be explained. Using that same wisdom of the yogas of these ages, Sache Pacha explains that throughout these ages, you have also always been there. But you've gone through many, many different carts. This soul, this Atma of yours has always been there. The true light, the Chetanta, which is knowing what your mind is thinking. Not your mind itself, not your body, but what is knowing all of this. That has always been there. That is the Mer. Pyareo, Salok Mahalla Pehla, Nanak Mer Sarir Ka, ik rath vaho. What mer means, just like there is a mala. Many Vidwans have described it as this, just like there is a mala, a beaded rosary. There is the meru manka, the bigger and the more important manka, the one that is holding the rest of the beads together. Pyareo, there are mountains, but the mountain that contains gold, the mountain that is the highest, that is called the Meru mountain or the Sumer Parbat, Pyareo, the greatest one. In the same way, out of all of these other greats, there is one that is great, the greater than the rest. And that here, Pyareo, out of all of these beings, out of all of these Junes, out of all of these incarnations, this Sarir, this Manukha De, is the greatest, is the Mer, is the supreme, is the most important. Nanak Mer Sarir Ka. This human life of yours is like a jewel. Even Bhagat Kabir Ji says, Kabir Manas Dulamb hai, hove na bara bar. That this human life of yours does not come very easily. You have this opportunity now. Do not lose this opportunity, just like an apple falls from the tree. Once the apple has fallen from the tree, the fruit has fallen, you can't attach the apple back to the tree. You have to take the seeds, go through the entire process again, and grow another apple tree. Therefore, you may or may not get fruit again. Pyareo, you have been blessed with this human life, so use it properly. Heere jaisa janam hai. Pyareo, it's like a jewel. This is that jewel which we've been searching for so long. Now use this opportunity, don't waste it. Nanak Mer Sarir Ka. Ik rath vaho, Pyareo. Speaking about the preciousness, the value of this human life. Cats, dogs, char paon, Gurbani reads. Many of them have 2 hands and 2 feet. They eat with their tongue. They see with their 2 eyes. But the only thing that they can't do is they can't sing the God's praises with that tongue. They can't connect and meditate on Paramatma. Vikho Pyareo. Nanak Mer Sarir Ka, ikrat vaho. This body is the most important that you have. This is the most important rath, meaning chariot, that you have, because this chariot has the ability to take you to your destination. Sometimes we go searching and we're looking for the certain bus or the certain taxi, the certain pathway that can take us to our destination. Now you've found the right bus. Now just travel on this chariot in the correct way. May this Rathvaho take you properly. May this Rathvaho, the charioteer, the person that is driving the chariot, leading the chariot, may he take you in the right way. Pyareo Vikho. The Rath is what your body is. Vikho. And the Rathvaho is your mind that is making you drive all this way. It is under the influence of your mind. Your mind is making you travel this entire journey of your life. You base it all around your mind. Nanak Mer Sarir Ka. Ik rath vaho, Pyareo, can also be translated as Vikho. This body is the Rath, and the person that is sitting inside of this Rath is your true form, this Atma. Because the Atma is being led with this body. The body is leading and influencing this mind and your body of what vikars, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Ahankar, what is enticing it. But don't indulge in that. You're traveling on this journey. Travel to your true destination here. You've been not only traveling for this 30 years of yours, 10 years of yours. No. Jug jug fer vatai hai, gyani bujh hai ta hai. What that means is, through all of these ages, the bodies and the minds, the influences, they've been changed many, many times. You've swapped them. You've swapped bodies many, many times. Jug jug fer vatai. On this entire journey of yours for Jug Jug, through all of Satjug, for all of Treta, Dwapar, and now Kaljug. When you put these 4 jugs together, it's known as a Mahajug. Many Mahajugs you've been. Pyareo, many of those cycles, many ages which we can't even find and limit to them. You've been traveling. Pyareo, in this separation, we've been all wanting this one thing. When a child is born in Samadhi. Pyareo, today, many people say that once a child is born, that the child needs to cry. Therefore, that we know the child is alive. that the throat is open now, that the child is able to breathe. But Pyareo, Gurbani explains to us one thing. They say that pehle pehre rehn ke vanjarya mitra, that when your first moments of this life were beginning, you were in the garbhas. You were in your mother's womb. In this mother's womb of yours, you were upside down. You were in complete samadhi. You were in tune and you were meditating on Paramatma. And when you were in that complete samadhi, you were meditating on Paramatma, you were not under any influence. You did not care because you had not seen anything. You had not heard anything. You had not touched anything. Guru had been protecting you even then. When you came out into this world, the first thing that you did, you broke your samadhi. You broke your meditation. And when you started looking upon the world, that's when you started becoming enticed by these. But we forgot, Pyareo, that this human life begins from samadhi. The entire life of this child, whether they're young, youthful, or old, they're all trying to find that same samadhi, the same deep, blissful meditation. But where do they find it? Where do they try to find it? They try to find it through taste of the tongue, through the eyes, through the ears, through the lust, through the wealth, through people's praise. They try to find bahar to leso parampalahi. They try to find it on the outside, but they're not searching inside in that true samadhi, Pyareo. They started from samadhi. You go out trying to find samadhi, but you're trying to find it, that bliss, in the wrong place. Therefore, the true bliss is actually there, where you are actually trying to search it, not outside. Find it deep within yourself. Find that jewel within yourself. Pyareo, jug jug fer vatai hai. This body has come and gone. You've been searching for that samadhi. Gyani bujje hai tahe. Pyareo, only the enlightened, only those that have found the Guru, enshrined Naam inside of their heart, that have been blessed with the Guru's anjan, the Guru's vision, they are able to understand how all of these jugs work. They're able to see all of this. They're able to see these cycles. They're able to see the amazing, wondrous game of time that God has put out for us in this game, in this timeline for us. Jug jug fer vatai hai, gyani bujje hai tahe. They're able to understand oh cheez bujh lende ne. Par Pyareo vikho, whether it's Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, or Kaljug, each of these times they've had a different influence. In Satyug, Pyareo, Sache Pacha explained to us here, there was what we call the age of truth. Satyug, there was the influence of always being truthful, the influence of dharma, being righteousness. And why was everybody righteous? Because everybody was under the influence of santok. Everybody was content. But as time changed, even during that time, there had been such times as, like, for example, Harnakash, who was present during the time of Satyug. There was even Prahlad who meditated on God. But when one dog, when one black stain was there, it was very clear that that one black stain was there, because the rest of the sheet was all completely white. The rest of the jug, the main influence there at that time was of truth and righteousness and contentment. But that does not mean that there wasn't any falsehood at that time, Pyareo. Whether it's in the time of Treta, when Krishna was there, but even during that time, even Kans was going and killing daughters. During the time of Dwapar, Pyareo, even during that time, there was Ravan existing, who was kidnapping Ram's wife, Sita. But now in this time of Kaljug, Pyareo, there is the full influence of Kalak, full influence of falsehood. Because wherever you look, there is greed, a desire to be better than the other person. Everybody is thinking through falsehood. Everybody is thinking through lust and greed and attachment. Majority of the world is under that influence. There is still truth here in this dark age. But Pyareo, during times, different times, there was a different influence. Majority of this world at one point was under the influence of truth and righteousness. Then it went under the influence of what we call celibacy, renunciation, detachment, and strength, valor. Then it went under the influence in Dwapar, the influence of penance, doing tap, and speaking truth. And now it is in this dark age, it is under the influence of this fire of desire. That is what is driving everybody, this hunger and this desire. And the falsehood is always being put in front. People are following the false rather than following the truth now. Just like we read according to Karam Anusar, what are the ages of these yugs? There are differences. Pyareo, the age of Satyug, if we translate it into English numerals today, 1,728,000 years is the age of Satyug. The age of Treta is 1,596,000 years. That is the age of Treta Yug. The age of Dwapar Yug is 864,000 years. And the age of Kal Yug, Pyareo, is 472,000 years. Pyareo, these are what Karma Anusar, these are the estimations that many Vidwans, they've put together to say that, look, Satyug is the longest because truth is the most prevalent at that time. And as it came down and down and down, Pyareo, Kal Yug became the smallest because there is Kud Vartara, and this becomes the smallest age. The more pop there is, the smaller the age becomes. Even Bhai Gurdas Ji, they describe it as this. Bhai Gurdas Ji says, just like there is a table has 4 legs. It is very sturdy. That does not mean it cannot be tossed over. No, it is 4 legs. It cannot be easily pushed over. It is very stable. When there is only 3 legs, 1 leg is taken off, the table can still stand. But the table has that 25% less stability, so it is able to fall down. Then, when it came to the age of Dwapar, in Treta had 3 legs. In the age of Dwapar, there is 2 legs. In this age of Dwapar, with these 2 legs, the table is able to fall over more easily. And then, in the age of Kal Yug, there is only 1 leg, so it is very, very difficult to even keep the table up. That is how Bhai Gurdas Ji describes. Even Bhai Gurdas Ji describes in another var. They say that, look, Satyug was the most uttam. Because during that time, if one person did a mistake or made a sin, the entire country would take the consequence on for that. Because it was so little. In Treta, the one person's city, Treta Nagari Pidiya, that one city would take on the consequence for that, would take the pain for that, would suffer for it. And when it came to Dwapar Vans Visund Kovela, during the time of Dwapar, it would just be for the family and that lineage. And then, but in Kal Yug, the Kal Yug is where such now the truth is the best justice, because only the person that commits the sin, that makes the mistake, they have to suffer for it. So if you plant that seed, you will suffer for it. But in this way, Bhai Gurdas Ji is describing that there are changes and different influences Akal Purkh has created. The ages of the way people lived was different and longer during the times of Satyug, and it became less and less. And in the age of Kal Yug, we are living roughly estimated, maximum roughly around 100 years. Pyareo, Jug Jug Fer Vataiye hai, Gyani Bujjahta, many changes happen. We swap out, in and out. The influences change through all of this, and the Gyanis, the people that are enlightened, they are able to understand this through the Guru's blessings. Prapam Vekhiye, Sat Jug Rat Santokh Ka Tarm Agairat Vaho. In the age of Satyug, there was the Rath, the chariot was of Santokh, of Santushti. Everybody was content. That is what they were driving on. And Tarm Agairat Vaho, the person that was leading him, was righteousness. प्यारियों, then Treta Rath Jata Ka Jor Agarat Vaho. Treta, in the Treta Jug, the Rath was of, just like we spoke about, was of Jataka. What? Of celibacy. People were able to detach. And what they wanted to do, Jor Agarat Vaho, because when somebody is focusing on one mission, they detach themselves from the world. They do Jatsa. They are very focused in their Maryada. They focus on their discipline a lot, and that is the way they put the surbirta. Jora Garatavao, the strength, valor of a warrior. They're fighting for that vision. Pyareo, when somebody is focusing on with determination on their mission, during that time, they detach themselves from all other vices, other things are unable to influence them. Dwapar Rat Tapeka Sat Agaratavao, when somebody is doing penance in the age of Dwapar, then speaking truth is what drives them. The desire to even become the truth, desire to attain to the truth and become truthful. Pyareo, there may be lots and lots of falsehood in this age, but there's still that desire to become truthful. So they do lots and lots of penance, lots of tap. But in this Kal Jug Rath Aganaka Kud Agaratavaho, in this dark age, what are people sitting on? What is the chariot? What is driving them? It is the burning desire, the fire of desire, which whatever you throw into this fire, it burns it alive. Pero the desire never ends. It never ends. Because this falsehood that this person is trying to chase, that is what is driving them. They're chasing false. They take this false, throw it into their fire. It burns it. They're not satisfied. So they go and they even kill their neighbors. They destroy the lives of their own children. Pero no matter what happens, it's all for personal gain. That is what the age of Kaljug is like. Pero if we look at this, even if we look at it from the angle of Satoguni Birtiya, Satoguni, Rajoguni, Tamoguni Birtiya, but Pyareo, the truth is we must rise above all of this. There is physical ages and these are states of avastha as well. When we look into the next slok of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, they describe, just like in these four ages, we have this Kaljug. In this Kaljug mein Kirtan Pardana, when you take this blessing of the Guru's praise and enshrine it in your life, enshrine it inside of your heart, you can attain the greatness. Because in this age, you only need to do just that much, little bit of reciting God's name in your short life, and you can attain Paramatma. It is actually easiest to attain God if you were to walk the path of righteousness, to walk the path of truth and penance, the path of Naam in this life. You're able to plant that seed. Pyareo, it is the easiest path to attain Akal Purkh in this age. But it is very difficult to attach from all the falsehood and this burning desire. In this next slok, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, they describe to us in these four jokes, they are based around the four Veds. Just like it was described and it was taught, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is taking those same teachings and teaching us something through that. Each Ved out of the four Veds, whether it's Rig Ved, whether it's Yudhar Ved, Sham Ved, or Atharvan Ved, these four Veds, they all represent and they describe different things. Even though Sham Ved is the smallest out of these four Veds, Sham Ved is describing the state of Satjug. Sam kahe se tambar swami, sach mein acha sach rahe. In Sham Ved, Pyareo, Sham Ved, it is describing that Satoguni Birti, it is describing that truth, it is describing that age of truth, and it is describing that where Mara says, Satjug Rath Agan Santokh Ka Tarma Agaratavaho, where righteousness was always prevalent and everybody was content. When contentment is there, the truth is people don't not want to desire anything else. If you want to walk the path of truth, Pero Santushti is the truth. If the entire world became content, then there is no need to put others down. Pero the entire business environment, economics today is all about greed. It is all about desire, attaining more and more. Nobody is content in this world. Even if somebody tries to attain a contentment, then the influence of this world will be there, that you need to go and you need to grow your desire for another aspect, whether it's your body, people pleasing, or growing your finances. It'll be there. But Sham Ved is explaining to us here, Sam kahe Setambar Swami. Setambar meaning the person that wore white clothes. That is why, even through all of these, there is a certain color that is described. Sham Ved, Setambar Swami, the persons whose name was called out, the name of God during that time was Setambar. Sham with the Sassa and Setambar with the Sassa as well. That is why Satjug and Sham, they go together. When we look at Rig Ved, Pyareo, Rig Ved during the time with the Rara Akhar, there was Raam as well. That was the name that was most prevalent during that time. When we look at Jujur Ved during that time is Saval, Yadam, Krishan. Yadam and Jujur Ved, they go together with the Jajja or Yaya. And when we look at Kaljug, there is the Atharban Ved. And the name that's most prevalent used inside of Kaljug, Sache Pacha says here, is Kal mein Bed Atharban hua now Khudai Alo paya. Atharban from Alo. The word Allah is most prevalent and used in this dark age. This is not to say that one name is greater than the rest. What this is trying to teach us that, look, throughout time, the influence around people has changed. People have changed, the times have changed. And people would call out to God with different names as well. Sam kahe se Tambar Swami, God, Paramatma was known. Those people of God were known to be wearing white clothes. That is why when a lot of people, when they read Sham Ved, they wear white clothes as well. White represents that. Represents peace. Represents that type of calmness. That's santushti. Taram. But this is why even when we look into the four Khalsa colours, colors do have an influence on our mind. This is why colors make a big difference and they represent certain things to us. Just the representation, not speaking about this look right now, speaking just about the Khalsa colours. Pyareo, we have Chitta, the color of white, which represents calmness, peace, which represents contentment, which represents Tarm. And then we have the color of blue. Blue represents fighting courage. It represents righteousness. It represents high spirits, Chardi Kala. Then that's why it's the color of the army, the Khalsa Kalpurki Fauj. Then we have the color of what we call Basanti, which is a mix of an orangey yellow. This color represents to us sacrifice. Why? Pyare, when somebody passes away, their nails go from pink and they turn yellow. Their face goes pale, turns into a yellowish color. And when somebody is looking at this dead body, this yellowish color represents death. Pyareo, when somebody is wearing the orange dastar and fighting for their guru, that means that they have already died for the guru. It doesn't matter whether they die now or whether they die after, because for the world they are already dead. Orange, Basanti, represents the detachment from the world. It represents sacrifice. And when we look at the color black, Pyareo, black represents rebellion. It means going against. That is why this color of the black flag was used throughout our history as well. Looking at these four colors, let's look at this slok now. Even during these Sham Veds, these colors are having an influence during those times. The Sham Ved, Sham kahe Setambar Swami, Sach mein ache sach rahe. Truth was prevalent at that time. Everybody was speaking truth and doing truth, acting upon truth. Sach mein ache sach rahe. Sabko sach samave. And everybody was contemplating that truth. This is what Sham Ved is saying. Sabko sach samave. They all merge and they are on into the samadhi. And they're speaking this truth as well. They're contemplating the truth. Sabko sach samave. They're engulfed by that truth. Rig kahe rahe parpur Ram naam deva maisur. Rig Ved. Pyareo, even though the first Ved is Rig Ved, all other Veds came out of Rig Ved. It is the very first Ved. First is Rig Ved. Then you have Yajur Ved. Then you have Sham Ved. Then you have Atharban Ved. Pyareo, first there is Rig Ved, the three Veds. Then you have 108 Upanishads. Then you have the Shastras coming out, which are also known as the Darshans. And these texts grow and grow and grow, but they're all based around the very first of this Rig Ved. How were the Veds written? Many say there are 3 philosophies behind it, pyareo. Just briefly touching on them. The very first one is that many Rishi Munis that were enlightened, many yogis, many sages that were enlightened, they used to speak of this. They used to teach it through the surti. That's why the word surtiyan are there as well. Simrtiyan and surtiyan. Because it would be taught through just vocal shabad, through words. The student would sit and they would just learn it and they would take it in. They would be passed on in that way. As this enlightenment grew and grew, then somebody wrote it down in this Rig Ved. Somebody says that it was the words that were recited by the avatars and they were written down. And then somebody says that these are the words of Brahma. That Brahma recited these mantras and they were written down in this Rig Ved. But pyareo, देखो rig कहे रहे आ भरपूर Raam naam deva masur. In Rig Ved, it is explaining that in the age where Shri Ramchandra ji was, Shri Ramchandra ji's name was prevalent. In Rig Ved, it explains that Ram Naam, Akal Purkh, is omnipresent. It is pervading all out, and this name of Shri Ramchandra ji was circling through everybody as well, and everybody would be knowing God's name to be Ram. Shri Ram Naam Deva Masur, and amongst all Devte, all angels, Shri Ramchandra ji was known to be the sun. Just like there are many stars, but then for us the sun is the most. Just like in that Rig Ved is explaining to us, Ram Naam Deva Masur, amongst all Devte, Shri Ramchandra ji was like the sun. Their face glowed the most. They're the most important. So therefore everybody will contemplate on Ram. Nailaya parachit jai nanak tomo khantar pahe. And it is said that whoever takes the name of Shri Ramchandra ji, Nailaya parachit jai, all of their pains, all of their dukh, they get taken away. Nanak tomo khantar pahe. And Rig Ved is saying that connecting to this omnipresent Paramatma, Nanak to mokhantar pahe. Mok meaning liberation, antar meaning inside of them, from deeps down inside of themselves, they attain. Pahe meaning attaining. They attain that mukti, that liberation. Juj mein jor chali chandraval, kaan krishan ja dham paya. And in Jujur Ved, it is describing that Shri Krishna ji, where Saval meaning dark, Yadam, which was the name also used for Krishna, Kan was also used, Kanna was also used for the name of Krishna, and so was Krishna. Jujme Jor Chali Chandraval Kan Krishna Jadam Paya. In this age, Jujur Ved describes to us that Krishna went and he enticed and he captivated the Gopi Chandraval. This milkmaid was enticed. Pyareo, this is a long story, just touching briefly on it. This Gopi, this lady whose name was Chandraval, she went, and when she was going and she asked all of these other Gopiya, she asked them, why are you always going after Shri Krishna? That he has such a dark color, that he does not even look that great. Why are you leaving your houses and always chasing after this one man? That's when all the Gopiya were full of rage. They went to Shri Krishna ji and they said that, oh Shri Krishna ji, she did nindya of you. She did nindya of us. Can you go teach her a lesson? So what does Shri Krishna ji do? We're using the power. All lamps, all fires that were burning in each and every house, Shri Krishna ji turned them off except for the fire that was in his house. So Chandraval needed the fire because her mother-in-law at that time, she was in need of heat. She was feeling very sick, so she needed to go to Krishna's house. When she arrived in Krishna's house, Pyareo, that's when Krishna enticed and captivated Chandraval. Pyareo, when Krishna ji went and captivated Chandraval, then the Ras Leela took place. The Krishna Leela took place. Everybody is dancing, everybody is singing, and this entire game that took place at that time, here Jujur Veda is explaining all of that. Khan Krishan Jadampaya was born, and just in this age, this was the age that Krishan took over and captivated Chandraval. Parjat Gopi Laya. Pyaro, what is Parjat? Parjat is a special tree. There were 5 trees. When all the Devte, this is how the story goes. When all the Devte, they got together, and when they stirred the ocean, 14 jewels came out. One of them was this Parjat tree. One of these 5 trees was planted in this one Lord's garden. Krishnanji went all the way, stole that tree, and planted it in his house. And when he was planted in his farm, then with Radha, and some even say Chandraval, the tree had a special quality that whoever sat under this tree, whatever they wished for, it would come true. So when you look in any of these Puratan Granths and Hindu Granths, Parjat is always mentioned. So that's why Parjat Gopi la aya Bindra ban mein rang kiya. And in the Bindraban, this place, Bindraban, in this jungle, that's when everybody enticed, everybody played this wondrous game, and they all played around Krishnanji. This Ras Leela took place. They praised Krishnanji for the beauty, for the power. At that time, Yadam was the name that everybody called out to. So that's why when we look at this, at that time, Trita Rath Jata ka Jora Gai Rath Vahu, Dwapar Rath Tapaka, Sat Agay Rath Vahu. This is all taking place, and comparing. Satya Pacha is taking the first slok and putting it with the Veds and the ages. They're putting them together. Satya Pacha explains in the next Pangati. They say, Kal mein Ved Atharban hua, now Khudai Alhopaya. That in the age of Kaljug, Kal mein Ved Atharban hua. Atharban Ved is describing to us all of the Tune, the black magics, the jadus, the different Riddhiyan, Siddhiyan, these things, the things that people of the dark age are trying to connect to. So a lot of people take this and they go and try to do that. Pyaryo, even if you look into the Veds, 80% of the Veds are speaking about Karma Kand, about physical and rituals that you do. Pyaryo, 16% of the Veds are describing to us the Vidya, the way to do Upasana, the way to do devotional worship. Pyaryo, they're describing this journey of love. And then when we look at 4% of the Veds, 4% of the Veds are talking about true Brahmgyan, just what we call Vedant. It is describing that this world that is all just an illusion. You are nothing. Paramatma is everything. There is no difference between you and God. That's what Vedant is saying. That is what that 4% of Gyan, what we describe as Gyan, true Prakash, true enlightenment. The Veds are saying that as well. But in this Atharban Ved, Pyaryo, it is describing these things. So Kal mein Ved Atharban hua, it is describing this dark age. That's why it is correlated with Kaljug. Now Khudai Alopaya. And in this dark age, which the name that is most prevalent is Khuda and Allah. If you look in Baghdad, you look in Afghanistan, Pakistan, you look in these other countries where Islam is most prevalent, you can look down south, you can look to the west, or even you can look to the east. The name Allah is being called out. This name Allah or Allah would be called out not just by Muslims but also by yogis and fakirs from the past as well. This is most prevalent, and this is the name used for Akal Purakh in this dark age. Pyaryo, Neel Bastar le kapde pehre Turk Pathani amal kiya. And in this age, the Turks, they put on the blue clothes. Just like when Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, when they traveled to Makkah, Bhai Gurdas Ji describes that Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Neel Bastar pehre Banwari Jio, that even Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, they wore the Turks' blue clothes. When they went there, they wore their clothes. They wore the bana of them and then taught them about Kartar, and they taught them about true teachings of Paramatma, that Akal Purakh does not just reside in one place, Paramatma resides everywhere. Neel Bastar le kapde pehre, so they wore the blue clothes, Turk Pathani amal kiya, and the rule came of these blue clothes. Turk Patani amal liya, they took over the thrones. They took over rule. The Turks and the Pathans, they did. Chare Ved hoye sachiar. All of these Veds, they claim to be explaining the truth. Pyareo, even in Gurvan we speak that the Veds are actually do have an essence of the truth in them. They're also speaking about this concept of what we call connecting to Naam. Simrat Ved Puran Pukaran Pothiyan. Naam bina sab kood gali hochiyan. Chare Ved hoye sachiar, they all claim to be true. Padhe gune tin char vichar, whoever studies them, whoever reads them, whoever contemplates them, pero their thoughts, their contemplation, that becomes true as well. It becomes beautiful. Char meaning sundar, meaning beautiful. But pyareo, how do you truly reach mukti? How are you truly liberated? In both of these sloks, we described throughout all of these ages, there's a different influence. Throughout these different ages and different teachings, even the Veds describe the different colors. When somebody reads, for example, they read Rig Ved, they wear red color. When somebody is reading Yajur Ved, they're wearing yellow color. That's why when somebody reads a Tharban Ved, they wear black colors. When somebody reads Sham Ved, they wear white colors. Or even the colors are described here. Even the different influences and the different avatars are described. The different names of Paramatma, saying that look, all of these changes happen. You've been going and wandering through all of these ages. But the truth is, if you truly want mukti, you have to do these things. All of this, both of these sloks are coming to this one line. This one line is the main essence. The main essence is Pao Bhagat Kar Neech Sadai To Nanak Mo Khantar Paye, which means that with true love, do this Bhakti Pao Bhagat Kar Neech Sadai, with have true devotional love inside of your heart, and consider yourself to be the lowest of the low. Nicha andar neech jaat. Nichi hu at neech. If you truly want to become low, pyareo, jithe neech samaliyan, tithe nazar teri bakshish. If we become the low, where we become low, that is where your blessings are. Without your blessings, we cannot get out of this cycle of these jokes, these colors, these names. We cannot get out of that. Pao Bhagat Kar Neech Sadai. Become the lowest of the lowest of the low, and at that place of low, have true devotional love inside of your heart. Pyareo, Nirman so akhar khavan gun, jeba maniya mant, e tere pane, veskar tavas avikant, become full of garibi. Pyareo, the path of Guru Sikhi is this. You want to take on the form of garibi, the form of being poor and wretched in this world, whether it be on the outside, that is irrelevant, but be rich on the inside. Be rich and filled with that Har ladda ratan padartho. Be filled with that true jewel, not the jewels of this world, the jewel of the Guru's Naam. Pao Bhagat Kar Neech Sadai To Nanak Mo Khantar Paye. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha is saying, through this way, you attain true mukti, true liberation. Pero, and how is this liberation obtained? How do you become the lowest? How do you become full of this devotional love and bhakti? This entire bhakti that we read in Twa Prasad Saviya. Sach kaho sun leo sabe, jin prem kiyo, then he prapayo. With true love, you find a Kalpurk. Pyareo, Sache Pacha is explaining to us here, Sadgur Vittom Varya. Only through that true love do you actually sacrifice yourself for the Guru. Die for the Guru. Pyareo, we say that we can do many things for other people. But when we say we can die for somebody, that means that we have no importance for ourselves. I can sacrifice my car for somebody because that person is more important than my car. I can sacrifice my wealth for somebody because that means my wealth means less than that person. I love that person more than my wealth. I can say my house means nothing. I do it for my family. That means I sacrifice my house for something more that I love. When we say that we can sacrifice my family, my own body, I can sacrifice my entire being for my Guru, that means my Guru is more important than us. Just like the earth may be revolving around the sun, Pyareo, just like the Gopiya may be revolving around Krishna, just like the entire jugs may be revolving around Raam, and they may be revolving around Setambar. But pyareo, all of that is revolving around, maybe all of the other 3 Veds are revolving around Rig Ved, all of the Upanishads, everything is revolving around that. I don't sacrifice myself for anything other than you, O my Guru, Satgur Vitton Varya. Throughout all of these ages, many changes have come, but the truth is, my Guru will always remain true throughout all of these ages. I sacrifice myself. When I am not there anymore, then it is just you. Satgur Vitton Varya, Jit Milya, Khasam Samale. And once I meet my Guru, that is where I truly fall in love with my Khasam, my lover, and I contemplate. I remember, I do Simran of my beloved again and again through my Guru's blessings. You meet the Guru, you sacrifice yourself for the Guru, and through the Guru's blessings, you're able to contemplate God, your lover, the beloved, the master. Jin kar updes gyan anjan diya, eni netri jagat nihalya. Because once I sacrifice myself for my Guru, what do I obtain, Pyareo? The very first thing that you have to do in order to be free, to nanak mo khantar pahe, is what we read is Pehla maran kabul, Jeevan ki shad aas, ho sabna ki renka tao oh hamare paas. If you truly want to walk this path, then accept death first. Pyareo, Jin kar updes gyan anjan diya. This is where we read in Gurbani. Gyan anjan gurdiya, agyan ander binas. The Guru has put this anjan, which means this surma, this dawai, the mascara in my eyes. And when this anjan has been put into my eyes open. I'm able to see the world. I'm able to see Paramatma. Brahm dise, Brahm suniye. Wherever I look, wherever I hear, that is I just see Paramatma. Where sab gobind hai, Gobind bind nahi koi. Here is Gobind, there is Gobind, everywhere is my Paramatma. Because that enlightenment of Paramatma has been shining through my eyes now. Jin kar updesh, they've given me their word, they've given me this hukam, unhone updesh kita, they've commanded me, they've taught me this teaching, and this light in my eyes is starting to shine now. Ini netri jagat nihalya. Pyareo, we read inside Sri Anand Sahib, ए नेत्रो मेरे हाथों में ज्योतरी हर बिन अवर न देखो कोई, हर बिन अवर न देखो हो कोई, नदरी हर निहाल्या. इस वे संसार तुम देख दे, ए हर का रूप है, हर रूप नदरी आया. Wherever you look, you see Paramatma. This is what your eyes are meant to be doing. When your Guru teaches you this, any netri jagat nihalya, you see the truth in this world and you become nihal. And once you see Paramatma in this world, all falsehood is dispelled. You're completely liberated from this world. You're liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Pyareo, khasam shod dujja lage dubbe sevan jariya. But in this dark age, there are many that just connect to dujja pao. They connect to duality. They connect to the pleasures of this world. Khasam shod, they let go of that beloved. What their true destination is. You're walking on this path. Pyareo, your car breaks down. Your body, physical body breaks down. And you do not get out of that car and go into another one. Pyareo, you are traveling, you get diverted. You go through all of these other entanglements. Khasam shod dujja lage dubbe sevan jariya. Those drown that attach themselves to duality. But the truth is, if you want to truly be free and cross over, the Guru is the true boat. Sat Guru hai bohetha. Bohetha means boat, means jahaj. Everything else is drowning, but the Guru is making you float across. Guru does not drown. If you give yourself and sacrifice yourself for the Guru will give you a place on their boat. The Guru will carry you across, but very rare. Virle kei ke. Very rare are those Gursikhs. Very rare are those sadhus, those devotees, those bhagats that actually go and fully sacrifice themselves for the Guru. Virle kine vicharya. Very rare are those that contemplate this. Sat Guru hai bohetha, virle kine vicharya, kar kirpa par utarya sache pacha. Bless us so that we may be able to cross over this terrifying world ocean as well. Sache pacha meher karo, daya karo, kich mehro pavo, dubde patthar tare. I am a drowning stone. You are that great blessed Guru that even makes the rocks float across. When we look into this slok, Pyareo, the very mool pankti, the thing that everything revolves around is Satguru hai bohe tha, virla kene vicharya, kar kirpa pare utarya. And when we look at Pau Bhagat kar neech dae to nanak mokhantar pae, through true loving devotional worship, you attain liberation by following at the Guru's feet. The Guru blesses you, the Guru places you, gives you a place on their boat, you cross over, you are liberated. And Sache Pacha, this is why I need to have this great destiny so I can meet you. Jin Mastak Dhur har Likhia, then Satguru Milya Raam Raje. The meaning of this entire slogan is you absolutely cannot cross over without the true Guru. The Guru has always been there throughout these ages, from the beginning, even now, and will always be there. You connect yourself to the Guru, you cross over with the truth as well. So प्यारे इन्नियां बेनतियां करदियां विचारां करदे हैं, एक नहीं अनेक प्रकार ਦੀਆਂ ਭੁੱਲਾਂ ਚੁੱਕਾਂ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਗੱਜ ਵੱਜ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਓ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।